What's up, guys? Specstar here today with my first battle for the Stabmons League. I'm going up against the Mississippian Orange, also known as J Bibbs, and he has the team there you see, which is a little bit threatening with the Hoopa, the webs, and all that fun stuff. Especially the Mega Mawile, I should say. Mega Mawile is interesting because it could not have coverage for my whole team, but if I made the wrong play of expecting a coverage that it didn't have, then it could have been costly. Now, my bet was that it would go for Fire Fang and not have anything to hit my Silvally Fire. It's not necessarily Silvally Fire, it's just normal Silvally, but I of course brought Fire for this game, and of course that was a little bit predictable, but I assumed he would have went, instead of trying to cover that, he would have went for Fire Fang for the Ferrothorn, which I did not bring. So, I've got a team here consisting of a Sableye, which is physically defensive. I've got Speed for Snorlax, which he didn't bring, and also a Topsy-Turvy for Snorlax. I believe I also had Recover, Parting Shot, and Spectral Thief. My Tapu Fini was Calm Mind, Moonlight, Taunt, and Moonblast. My Aerodactyl was banded with Head Smash, Brave Bird, Accelerock, and something else which I now forget. I did this battle a while ago, and I recorded this right after the battle, and then OBS screwed it up, so here I am recording it again. That's why I don't necessarily remember everything perfectly. I had a banded Buzzwole with Leech Life, Mach Punch, Close Combat, and Ice Punch. I had a Silvally, which had Parting Shot, Recover, Flamethrower, and I believe Rapid Spin. And I had another Regigigas, which also had Rapid Spin, I should say, which had Soft Boiled, Judgment with Icicle Play, and Knockoff. So, let's dive right into this. I'm going to lead off with Mega Sableye because I just wanted to get it Mega'd. He leads off with Rotom, and I'm just going to Mega here. If he did lead off with Mawile, I would have been able to just stay in regular and go for priority Parting Shot. And here I'm just going to Mega and go for Parting Shot. And I'm going to decrease Hoopa's attack and special attack, and I'm going to take that as my chance to just put a ton of pressure on him right away and go out into Larry King, the Aerodactyl. And he's going to show to be Scarf Parting Shot himself, which is a lot of information. I'm going to go for Head Smash, and based on the damage, I'm going to be able to get him again, and I thought with it being Stabmons, he probably wouldn't have afforded the coverage for Protect. So I thought I'm just going to click Head Smash again. I'm going to be able to knock that out. Have Larry King goes ahead and just misses that Head Smash. Not even close. It got like an inch to the left on the screen of it. So here I'm just going to switch out and go to my Sableye. I didn't want to let him get up rocks as he tries to. And fortunately he gets up rocks for us because we didn't pack any hazards in this game. I went for Parting Shot here, predicting him to go into Mawile, which gets my Sableye low. In hindsight, I probably should have just recovered, but I'm an aggressive player, it's just my nature. He goes into the Delmise while I show my Icicle Blade Judgment there. I was hoping he would take my bait and leave Gliscor in. I just want to go for the knockoff on the Delmise to kind of handicap it for the rest of the battle. And now I just want to go ahead and make my switch into Sableye, see if I can get my health back on a potential Strength Sap. And he goes from Spiky Shield and then shows Nightshade, which is pretty interesting. His whole set's pretty out there. And I'm just going to take my opportunity to get Sableye back up to full health. So he brings out Hoopa, and that doesn't really scare me. I'm just going to go ahead and click my Parting Shot and get on out. He locks in a Dark Pulse, and I take my opportunity to go into Buzzwole and put a lot of pressure on. I'm going to go for Ice Punch in case he wants to go into Gliscor, and it's just going to cover him sacking his Delmise. So we see that thing go down, and we're going to get our Beast Boost. He'll go into Mawile. I definitely do not want to stay in as I'm locked in Ice Punch. I have a Sylvali Fire, which I'm confident at this point is just going to wall his Mawile. He goes for Play Rough, it's not doing anything because we're physically defensive. He goes on a Gliscor, I'm just going to go for a Parting Shot. I went for a lot of Parting Shots in this game, spoiler alert. Probably the most amount of Parting Shots anyone's ever went for before. I just love that move. And he does wind up getting his rocks up there. I'm going to take my opportunity to start Calm Minding up here. And now I didn't want to let him get in Mawile for free, so I went just for Moonblast, and he decides instead to go into Galvantula to try to put some pressure on, and that thing's going to drop. Here he goes into Mawile, and I did not want that thing setting up ever, so I'm just going to taunt it. And he goes for Play Rough, and he does a ton. At this point, I'm thinking that Feeny is probably not salvageable. And with rocks up, I don't have a free into Sylvali, so I'm just going to click Moonblast and try and get this thing chipped down in range of Arrow, or even Buzzwole's Mach Punch. That's what I'm going for here. And I got the Feeny dropping here, and I'm just going to go into my Sylvali, and I believe I'm going to click the Soft Boiled here, as he goes out into Rotom. And that's what I'm going to do, and I believe here I didn't really believe he could beat us, but I was just not taking any chances, so I decided to go for my Soft Boiled. And he goes on to Gliscor, and that's just going to be my cue to switch on out into my Regigigas. And we get that annoying little slow start. He goes for Brave Bird, it's not doing enough, so I'm just going to be able to click Recover here. He doesn't really have the greatest answer to Regigigas anymore. He's got his Mawile, which is really weakened, and he probably doesn't want it taking any hits at all. And here, I'm just going to take my chance to go for the Rapid Spin with my Regigigas, and that's going to be very nice for the Sylvali, among other things. I'm going to slack off and see what he wants to lock into. He locks in a Psy Strike. I know that means I'm free to go into my Sableye here and get it back up to full health. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Just going to go into Rotom, which is absolutely... Oh, I actually went for Parting Shot. I thought I went for Recover, but I did go for Parting Shot. I knew I went for Parting Shot when I recorded it the first time, but OBS screwed me up there. So here I believe I just went for Parting Shot again with Sylvali. My favorite move apparently. And yet with that drop I knew I was able to heal up my Sableye, except he goes for Parting Shot and sends me on out. And I'm just going to go into Buzzwole because I know he can't attack me and I'm free to just smash anything. And he goes for Gliscor, and yep, I'm just going to go for the Ice Punch. I get the crit, not sure if that mattered because I was Adamant Banded, so unfortunate if it did, but I think I had this at this point anyway. He goes into Rotom, and that's just my cue to go into Regigigas, which is a specially defensive wall and can just eat. He's going to go for Blue Flare, and I'm just going to Soft Boiled up until he goes out into Hoopa. And I'm going to get to full health there. And in the face of Hoopa, I believe I just went for... I tried to go for Knockoff here because I just wanted to get that thing slower than Aerodactyl, just to make sure my win conditions were even more open than they were prior. You just want to create as many as possible and remove as many losing conditions as possible. Interestingly enough, after I knocked off his Scarf, he was able to use the Magician ability to steal my Icicle Plate, and that made my Judgment more powerful because I actually had nothing that Icicle Plate Judgment hit harder than a normal Judgment, so that was a little bit interesting. His Magician wound up doing us a little bit of a favor. And here he goes in the Rotom, and I'm just going to take that thing out with my Judgment. I'm going to cast some Judgment upon it. And he, I believe, just went into Mawile. Yep, and as always, I just went into my Sylvali. Every time, Sylvali did a fantastic job alleviating that giant threat that was Mawile for me in this game. Sylvali, I really think it's a monster in this. Even though it's not allowed to use every type like it can in the normal tier, I still think it's a monster in the league, just getting the 8 of Recover and having that bulk, the recover, and then being able to use any type of move. So I just tried to take this thing out with flamethrower, but I got flinched, so I thought I'd just try to go into Buzzwole to preserve a bit of differential. Let's go for Dark Pulse again, and I'm just going to take it out with my Mach Punch, and that's going to be the game. So we're going to start off with a nice 5-0 victory over the Mississippian Orange. It was a pretty fun game, although definitely a little bit stally, and I take full responsibility for that. I drafted a little bit of a bulky team, mostly just because of the value of what was there. I knew I wanted to have a Mega Staple Ifini core, but I wound up only taking Regigigas and Sovali because they were available so late. And the team kind of got in Frothorn because I really didn't think it would be available in the 4th round, and it was, so my team just kind of became thick because there was so much value in it. But yeah, it was an interesting game, and that's going to be it for it. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good night.